Meetings are a normal part of everyday engineering life. And honestly, they can suck. They suck time, they waste everybody's time because you're taking time out of busy engineers' day, and they also waste money. Think about how much everybody is getting paid for that shared time. It's not independent work, it's teamwork, and you can talk about hundreds or thousands of dollars per hour by taking up everybody's time. So how do we have effective meetings to make sure everybody is getting the value out of this shared time that everybody can? The steps to effective meetings include basically focusing on preparation. You want to make sure that your meetings are effective by having set agendas, prepared topics and times, and make sure that everybody is getting the information and saving the information that they need to get out of these meetings. Preparation includes pre-meeting preparation or a pre-meeting meeting. We'll talk about how insane that sounds and why we want to do this in a minute. Sharing an agenda with everybody, including bosses or senior management that are going to be present at your meetings. Taking notes during your meetings to make sure you capture and take away all the information, and follow up to make sure everybody knows what the next steps are for every individual and what the takeaways of the meeting are. Follow up on what the value of that meeting was. So let's talk about the pre-meeting meeting. I know this sounds insane. We don't really want to have a meeting about a meeting, but having some sort of preparation, it doesn't have to actually be in person. It could be over Slack or over email with your teammates, something like that. But basically the goal here is to set an agenda for the meeting. Make sure you talk about who is going to talk about each topic. It's important to be visible in these meetings, particularly if you're meeting with a boss or a sponsor, because you want to make sure that you are visibly contributing, and these meetings are your place to have that visibility. Even if you're a championship contributor to a meeting or a championship contributor to a project, and if you're not talking during meetings, if you're not visible, if they don't notice you, you look like a slacker, and you don't want to look like a slacker when you're doing hard work. You want to get the credit for that hard work. So make sure you're talking about the hard work that you're doing. This is especially important for sponsors and bosses. You want to make sure that you have a prepared time, prepared topic. They can look at the agenda. They can think about what is going to happen beforehand and be prepared themselves, right? The pre-meeting meeting does not have to be an actual meeting. It can just be something on Slack or Discord, or send an email to your teammates, as long as there's some organization that's happening. And make sure that you have identified somebody on the team that is going to be responsible for sending this out. If it's less than 48 hours out and you haven't talked about what you're going to talk about in a meeting, you need to get on that. Prepare an agenda. The agenda includes who, where, and when are you having the meeting. This is the details of the meeting, so everybody knows and is on the same page. What are the goals of this meeting? And some of those goals might include something like a progress update that includes an outline of the meeting. It might be demonstration and feedback. It might be the decisions that are required for the meeting, like what are we going to be deciding on? What do we need to decide on before this meeting is over? And possibly troubleshooting. And when you talk about troubleshooting, you want to be as detailed as possible, because you want people to come into the meeting prepared, having already thought about what the problems could be so that you can solve them during the meeting. Again, use the time wisely. You want to send this agenda out at least 48 hours before the meeting. This gives everybody time to set up and think about the meeting, to prepare for the meeting, to use that time most effectively. You don't want to be sitting quietly while somebody brings up their software environment or researches the pieces that they need to find. That's a waste of time. You want to be moving quickly during these meetings. During the meeting itself, you want to make sure that you take notes. Designate a note taker. Make sure everybody knows what their roles are. You don't have to write every word, but you want to use a shared document and focus on things like the decisions that have been made, the tasks and action items, and who is responsible for those action items and when they are due. These are important to keep track of what is going to happen, who is responsible for those things. afterwards. And any feedback that you receive from your sponsor or boss or whoever it is that you're meeting with, you want to make sure that you capture all that. The point here is to not forget what happened during this meeting. You want to talk about it, you want to write it down, you want to have a record so that you can refer to it later. This has saved my butt so many times because I forgot about something, I forgot I said I was going to do something, I go back and look at my meeting notes, and now I can see specifically what it is that I needed to accomplish. I can prepare for that so that I meet all my deadlines and stay on track. Then at the end, you want to follow up. Before the meeting ends, schedule the next meeting. Make sure that everybody's available, set the next time to meet, get that on everybody's calendar right now so you don't forget about it later. Again, just make sure that you're not wasting people's time. After the meeting, set a quick follow-up email to everyone that includes things like the meeting notes that you just took, summarize the action items for the team and for the sponsor or your boss. If you're asking your boss to do something for you, if you're asking your sponsor to do something for you, make sure it's clear that that is happening. It's a favor to them. They don't have to remember it. Now they've got an email that says, hey, you were supposed to do this thing. Also, do the same thing for your teammates. Share that out and say, John is going to do this, Alex is going to do that, Sarah is going to take care of this. This is all going to be done on these days, right? And always be polite. Always put in a thank you for your time, particularly if you're talking with a boss. This just shows general respect and that you value the time that they're putting forward, right? If you do these things, your meetings are going to get so much better because you're not going to be spinning your wheels. You're not going to be trying to think of the things that you wanted to talk about. You're going to have a specific list in your agenda for what you wanted to talk about. You're going to hit those things. Your meetings might end early rather than dragging on because you come to the meeting prepared. You come to the meeting with an idea of what you're going to do, and it's going to make things so much better. And you get the value out of these meetings that is really, really important when you're taking everybody's time.